Muchas gracias, señoras y señores. Welcome to Catholicism Salsa, our percussion section, beginning with Mr. Juan Ucera, then Mr. A.B. Rodriguez Jr., and Mr. Felix Sanabria, and representing Spanish Harlem, Ana Maria Flores Martinez. She's going to get a big kick out of that. Salsa is an American musical genre that was amalgamated by Puerto Ricans and New Yorkers very close to here in Spanish Harlem. Now, Catholicism is the predominant and catalytic religion within that community. So salsa has Catholic instrumentation, lyrics, and music. As a matter of fact, the cuatro, the national instrument of Puerto Rico, came from the Catholic religion. When King Ferdinand realized what Columbus had discovered, he wrote a royal edict ordering all colonizers going to the New World to take with them a stringed instrument to observe and spread the faith. So in Puerto Rico, the bordonua and the bandurria arrived in 1512. The guitar arrived in 1516. So the jíbaro in Puerto Rico, what he heard was the bandurria and the guitar playing Catholic music. And then out of all of the trees that were in Puerto Rico, they honed out their own instrument called the cuatro. At first it began with 4 simple strings into the very sophisticated cuatro now that has 10 strings. So this is a direct line to the Catholic Church because they ordered all colonizers to take along a stringed instrument. This is why everywhere in Latin America you'll find somebody plinking on something or other, from the charango in the Andean mountains all the way to the Cuban laúd. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to play un seis chorreado. Now, a seis was a Catholic dance, a Catholic music, but the Puerto Ricans took it and improvised on it, and there are now approximately 34 variations. They say seis chorreado, seis vegabajeño, seis, the towns each one have one, and when Carlos Gardel became very famous in Puerto Rico and in the rest of Latin America, during the 20s, Puerto Ricans came up with the seis milonga. So it just goes on. They just keep adapting it. The reason why I say approximately is because even to this day, there are towns that have their own seis, but now there are neighborhoods within the town that have their variation on it. Mr. Kike Ayala. I want to point out that the Jíbaro in Puerto Rico makes these instruments out of 60 different types of trees. But the only lid that they use is called a yaugrumo, because they have found that the yaugrumo allows for the sound to bounce off of the body and come forth. Mr. Quique Ayala, who is not only a teacher, he's a folklorist, he's a master cuatro player, y él fue el hombre que está inventando la alcapurria de yuca. So applause for Mr. Quique Ayala, a great musician. Now this program is called Catholicism and Salsa. Needless to say, we're starting off in Puerto Rico because this is also a tribute to the National Puerto Rican Day Parade that has gone past these doors for the last 48 years. Within the program, we are very fortunate to have the parade queen, Miss Michelle Ruby Rodriguez. I would like for her to come up and say a few words on behalf of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. Miss Michelle Ruby Rodriguez. Yeah, that's good.
Welcome and good evening. I am very honored to be here tonight with all of you and be able to represent the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. I just want to express how proud I am to be Puerto Rican and of our culture, and what a huge part music plays in our culture. It allows our culture to become alive. It gives our culture flavor. It makes it have spirit. And I want to thank Jose and all of you who have been able to, through music, salute the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. We are very proud of our culture, and I'm very proud to stand here in front of you all today. And I would just like to thank you all for having me. Also, I would like to see all of you at the National Puerto Rican Day Parade, June 13th, which is next Sunday. Y que viva Puerto Rico. Gracias.
So this is the influence that Catholicism has had on salsa. First of all, salsa is the only American musical genre that celebrates Christmas. Jazz does not celebrate Christmas. Reggae doesn't celebrate Christmas, even though it's not an American musical genre. There's now a hybrid of it called reggaeton. Wynton Marsalis doesn't celebrate Christmas. A.B. Quintanilla and the Cumbia Kings don't celebrate it. And I don't particularly think that a song that says that there are chestnuts roasting on an open fire mean anything Christmassy. The Puerto Rican folklorists put out an excess of 15 recordings every year. This is without major distribution. Sony doesn't distribute these things, and they're basically done in very folkloric ways. And they actually get archival stuff from Ramito and Calandria. Yomo Toro has made a career out of playing Christmas music. And this is why, because the Puerto Ricans amalgamated salsa and they have included their own folklore, is the only reason why salsa celebrates Christmas. We also have the Cuban wing. Unfortunately, the Cubans have lost the taste, which came from the Catholic Church through the Spaniards. In Cuba, there's only 2 towns that actually remember it. There are septuagenarians that remember fondly somebody playing a seis or a parranda on horseback or on foot, but they're not practicing. They just remember when they were children. Here in the United States, even though we enjoy religious freedom, the Cuban-American community doesn't foment the Christmas music either. So it's because of the Puerto Ricans that salsa celebrates Christmas. Now we're going to play a parranda. We're going to do one more number that's called an aguinaldo, but I want to point out that this program is in tandem with an exhibition of stringed instruments at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's in the Musical Instruments Gallery. There's a cuatro, a tiple, and a bordonua. Puerto Rico actually has 5 stringed instruments. Cuatro, tiple, bordonua, bordonua. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? More or less? You mean I've been talking to myself this whole time? Okay. We're very fortunate actually to have here the person that had the foresight to start the collection of Afro-Ibero-Antillean instruments, Mr. Ken Moore from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. All right, the last one we're going to do is an aguinaldo. Again, it's on the national stringed instrument of Puerto Rico, the cuatro, Mr. Quique Ayala, accompanied by Guillermo Colón, another fine Puerto Rican instrumentalist. Arranca.